C++ operator, basically operator are used to perform operation variable and values. For example, int x is equal to 100 plus 50. Again, there are different operator we have discussed in the previous class: arithmetic, assignment, comparison, logical, and bitwise operator. Let's quickly review addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, and modulus. Then we have assignment operator. We have seen in the previous class assignment x is equal to 5. Just it will be just like this. If 5 is the value that is going to be assigned to a variable in the memory, x plus plus and equal means x plus is equal 3, which is just like this: x is equal to x plus 3. Minus and assignment operator, which is just like this: x minus equal 3, which is equal to x is equal to x minus 3. Static and equal, it can be written in just like this: x static into 3. Backslash and assignment is just like 3x divided by 3. Modulus and equal is equal to x modulus 3. And ampersand and equal x is equal to x and 3. Not equal, which is x, sorry, not, this is not equal, basically this is the vertical bar: x is equal to x bar 3. Hat equal, which is x is equal to x hat 3. Again, this is a value in exponent. And angle brackets equal x angle brackets is x is equal to x angle brackets and 3. And this is again same: less than and greater than. Operator just like this: less than, well, greater than, less than, equal to, greater than, equal to, exactly equal to, not equal to. Relational operator. Logical operator, basically and. Logical operator are used to determine the logic between the variable. This is basically and. You can say logical and returns true if both statements are true. X is less than 5 and x is less than true. If x is less than 500, obviously x is less than 10, then this value is going to be, this expression is going to be true. And this is the vertical bars: return true if any one of the statement, if any one of the part of the expression is true. If x is less than 5, then it's quite okay, expression will be true. Or if x is less than 4, if this part is true and this part is false of this whole expression, then if any part of this expression, whole expression, is true, then this expression will give the result true as an output. Then exclamation mark, basically this is logical not. Reverse the result: return false if the result is true. Basically x is less than 5 and x is less than true. If the whole expression is true, and we will return the result of false, because this is the exclamation mark is used, which is the logical not. Bitwise operator are used in bit level programming. Again, bitwise and, bitwise or, had, bitwise exclusive, or bitwise complement. Operator may also be classified on the number of operand that act on either unary operator. This was you have seen in the previous class, that was increment and decrement operator. Basically this is just like that: a plus plus is again equal to a is equal to a plus 1. This is basically unary operator. Binary operator: x is equal to x minus 10. Again, the two operators are used. This is basically assignment operator and this is subtraction operator. Ternary operator is, again, you can see x is equal to a is less than b, question mark, if a colon b, and then we have semicolon. Unary operator operate on only one operand, so you have only one operand. Basically this is a. In the binary operator, you have operate on two operands basically. An ternary operator operates on three operands. You have seen in this example. Example of unary is plus plus. Again, in the example of binary is minus, plus, equal, and then we have the ternary operator. We have question mark and we have colon. Then the special operator, basically an expression is a combination of opcode and operand. Basically, some special operator are used in C++ programming are size of. Basically, it is the unary operator in which is used in finding the size of data type. Example, size of variable of A. This will give the size of the variable A. Finding the size of data type. Again, comma. Common operator are used to linking related expression together. For example, int a is equal to 10, comma b is equal to 5. It means initialization and declaration is done in the same line, which tells us that the variable a and variable b both are of integer data type. Dot and you can say arrow, again member operator used to reference individual member of classes, structure and union. Cast, basically casting operator convert one data type to another if you want to do the conversion of data types. So this operator cast is used. And operator is basically address operator and return the address of the variable. Static basically is pointer operator is a pointer to a variable. Basically pointer is somehow you want to deal with the address of the variable, then this pointer is used. And then we have punctuators. Punctuator in C++ have syntactic and semantic meaning to the compiler. This is exclamation used along with this to indicate not equal, and percentage sign used along with the format specifier, and ampersand used to represent address location or bitwise location. Then we have the semicolon used to represent statement terminator. We have brackets used to array subscript. We have told you that if you want to save the data, if you want to save the list of alphabets, sorry, want to save the list of fruits, then we have the hash sign used to represent the preprocessor directives. You can see, you have seen in the previous slide that the top of the program, the first line will be started from this symbol hash sign. And then we have a backslash, basically that is used to represent the escape sequence. Backslash n, which is backslash t, you have seen backslash n, which basically gives the output in the next line. Then we have the colon symbol that is used to represent the label statement. And then we have equal to that is used to represent the assigning operator. And data type basically can be defined as the set of the values which can be stored in a variable along with the operation that can be performed on those values. C++ defines several types of data and each type has a unique characteristic. C++ data type can be classified as the fundamental data type, that is built-in data type. The second one is derived data type, and third one is user-defined data type. And C++ defines several types of data and each type has a unique characteristic. C++ data type can be classified as user-defined, built-in, and derived. Basically, user-defined we have structure, union, and enum. In built-in we have the int, char, float, boolean, and we have void, etc. Then we have a derived that basically array, function, and pointer. This again table gives the information about how much size that each data type contains in the memory. The data type specifies the size and type of information the variable will store. Int, basically data type int stores 2 bytes in the memory. Character stores 1 byte in the memory. Float store float store 4 bytes in a memory. And double data type stores, double int basically stores the 8 bytes. And again, this is the range that is given for each data type. And then we have the converting type conversion, basically in which we have to convert from one data type to the other data type. Converting an expression of a given type into the other type is known as typecasting or type conversion. Type conversion are basically of two types. They are implicit conversion and explicit conversion. Implicit conversions basically, then we have the implicit conversion. Implicit conversion, they are automatically performed when a value is copied to a compatible type. Base, for example, short A is 2000, then we have a int B. Somehow this is compatible. Short A and int. Then we have B variable that is declared in the cycle, and then we have the first variable a that is initialized with the 2000. Again, that a variable's value is assigned to the b. Then the second one is explicit conversion, Many conversions, especially those that imply a different interpretation of the value, require an explicit conversion. For example, short A is 2000 int B, and again this type of conversion just like C, like cast notation. Input and output operators, basically the input and output operations are done using the library function cin and cout of objects of the class iostream. Again, iostream is the header file library file that is used in the code by using the .h extension. Cin is basically used for input and cout is basically used for output. To display, to print something on the screen, then we will use this keyword cout and with angle brackets. Then we have, if we want to take input from the user, then we will use the cin. Using the standard input and output library, we will be able to interact with the user by printing message on the screen and getting the user's input from the keyboard. A stream is an object where a program can either insert or extract characters to or from it. The standard C++ library include the header file iostream, where the standard input and output stream objects are declared. Input operator, again, basically this is angle symbol is called input operator. The standard input device is usually the keyboard. Input in C++ is done by using the stream extraction on the cin stream. Basically, this symbol in this direction angle brackets is used for the input, and for the output, that was cout, opposite direction symbols, angle symbols are used. Cin stands for console input. Again, for example, if there is a variable age of integer data type, declaration is done in this section, in this line, in this statement. Then if we want to take the input from the user, for basically each user will enter his own age. Then for this cin console input with this angle symbols, and we have the age variable. For example, this is the keyboard, and then we have the cin operator, they basically the console input operator, and we have the variable. Then we have the output operator. Output operator, basically the standard output device is the screen monitor, and you can see that this angle brackets with the opposite direction is used. Outputting in the C++ is done by using the object followed by the stream insertion. Again, cout stand for console output. For example, cout angle brackets, again this is basically the stream insertion, console output, stream insertion, and then we have a sum. Basically, this will print the sum on the screen. Cout sum basically prints the content of the variable sum. If the variable is given in the inverted comma, then it will print the variable as it is. But somehow if we use the variable without integer, then it means that it will print the content, the value that is in that variable is saved will be printed on the screen. Then again we have the output, standard output devices monitor. Then we have cout and again angle brackets. So you can see that in the previous slide the arrowhead is moving from the left to right, but in this we will see that the arrowhead is from the variable to the monitor in the opposite direction. We have the variable, then we have the symbol in stream insertion symbol, and then we have the cout, and then we have the monitor. Cascading of input output operators. Basically, if a program requires more than one input variable, then it is possible to input these variables in a single cin. Just like declaration done, we have seen the declaration in the same line. Just like that, if a program requires more than one input variable, then it is possible to input these variables in a single cin statement using the multiple stream extraction. Sorry. Cout is again, this will print this line, this statement print the line as it is on the screen. Then we have the cin and extraction stream extraction symbol. Basically the value for these two variables will be taken from the user as an input. If a program requires more than one output result, then this can be done using a single cout statement with multiple stream insertion operators. This is called the cascading of input and output operators. Cout, for example, enter the two numbers. Again, the insertion stream insertion symbol A, and then stream insertion symbol, then we have B and stream insertion symbol, and L. Again this and L work just like the backslash n. Then we have the sum of the two number is the sum of the two number is stream insertion, and again sum and stream insertion. Then we have the end L, basically end L, and at the end of the end L we have the terminator semicolon that will be in the coding in the C++. At the end of the each line in the main function, under the main function between the braces, this means that each statement must be end with the semicolon. Formatting. Formatted output manipulators. Manipulators are the operators used with the insertion operator to format the data display. To use manipulator, it is used to include the header file iomanip.h. For manipulation, we have to add this header file at the start of the code, and L and set W. For example, and manipulator cause a line feed to be inserted. As I've told you that this will work like just backslash n in the C++, sorry, in the C language. That was the escape sequence for inserting a line. It has some same effect as the using new line character backslash and C out, enter the two number, and then we have the operator insertion operator, A insertion operator, B and insertion operator, and then at the end of the statement we have the semicolon. The set W manipulator sets the width of the field assigned for the output. So C out insertion symbol operator, sorry, set W6, and then insertion we have the R character, and then we have state at the end of the statement we have the semicolon. The output will be 6. As you can see that the width of the field, basically we have assigned the width will be of 6. Then we have the variable that is written. Format, again, manipulation of the operators are the operator used with the insertion operator to format the data. For example, this is basically the simple C++ program that is going to add two number. First, we have to include the header files of the libraries, so we can do the task, we can perform the task correctly. First we have the iostream.h. basically this is for library for input and output. Then we have the iomanip that is used for the manipulation. Then .h is basically is extension, everything that you can see that in each of your file in the computer system is ended with the dot, and next we have the letters, 2 or 3 letters, basically that is the extension. So extension which tells of the type, data type, file type. So in this .h is an extension which tells us this is the header file. Basically again we have the void main, this is the main function, and we have the brackets. There is next we have seen that int a, B, add. There are 3 variables. All of 3 are of integer data types. Then we have the clear screen. This is basically used to clear the screen if they something written already, then that can be erased. And then we have the C out. Again, we have the symbol, enter the two numbers, this line will be printed as it is. Then we have the end L, and the I have told you that inside the braces each statement will be end by using this semicolon, and that is called as the terminator. Then we have the C in, you can see that the angle brackets with the opposite direction is used. Insertion symbol is used, insertion symbol in which two variable values for the two variables will be inserted. Then we have the add, which is equal to A plus B. C out, we have the sum of the two numbers. Again, this line, the sum of the two number is will be printed as it is on the screen. Then we have the insertion symbol. Insertion symbol set W6, that basically the width of 6 is will be printed. And again we have the insertion symbol sum and L, and then get ch character basically will be used at the end of the program. Again, control statement in C we have discussed already that are used to just like that if else we have discussed in the previous class. Control statements are the statement that alter the sequence of the flow of instruction. The order in which statement are executed in a program is called flow of control. Basically, if the condition is satisfied, then the first piece of code will be executed. If the condition is false, then the other piece of code will be executed. Type of control statement, basically C++ port two basic control statement, that is selection statement and iteration statement. Selection statement basically allows us to select a statement or set of statement for execution based on some condition. It is also known as conditional statement. This structure helps the programmer to take appropriate decision. The different selection statements: if statement, if else statement, nested if statement, switch statement. If statement, basically this is the simplest form of selection statement. The statement is also called one-way branching. The statement is used to decide whether a statement or a set of statements should be executed or not. Basically, if the condition is true, if the condition is true, then this block of code will be executed. Otherwise, if the condition is false, then the other block will be executed. The program will be ended. So the decision is based on the condition, which can be evaluated to true or false. Syntax: if is the keyword, and again in the parentheses we have the condition. If the condition is true, then these statements will be executed. If else, if the statement is called that is also called as two-way branching. This structure helps to select one set of statement to be executed from the two. If the condition is true, then this block of code will be executed. If the condition is false, then this block of the code will be executed. At the end, obviously, there will be only one condition that is going to be true. If the one is true, then this after selecting one, after executing one state code of block of a code, then we have to end a program by printing something, or by some you can say by terminating program. So syntax is just like this: if test condition statement will be if this condition is true, then this statement one will be executed. If the condition is false, then the control of the program will not go to this block. Statement one will not be executed. Then the code of the flow of control the control flow of code will be from if to else, and then statement 2 will be executed. Nested if means there are multiple if statements. So if the statement of an if statement is another if statement, then such an if statement is called nested if. You can see in the diagram that there are multiple if different conditions if conditions are available. If this condition is false, then go to this is condition. If this condition is false, then go to this condition. If this condition is false, then go to the default statement. Same, if condition is true, then statement one will be executed. Else if test condition two, just like that goes. At the end of the condition, there is the default statement that will be executed. If all of these condition will not be true, then at the end of the program, the default statement will be executed. Switch statement basically has built-in multiple branch selection statement. If there are more than two alternative to be selected, multiple selection construct is used. The general form of the switch statement is case label one statement. Again, break is again a keyword. Case is a keyword. Switch is basically in the previous selection you have seen that the if is a keyword. Here switch is a keyword, and again in the condition we will use the expression case break, again case break. These are basically the keywords in which two multi alternatives to be selectives sorry with two alternatives to be selected. Then we have the iteration construct or looping. We have seen that the while loop, do while loop, and a for loop. If we want to execute the statement again and again, then we will use the concept of the loop. The process of repeated execution of first sequence or a state of statements until some condition is satisfied is called the iteration or loop. Iterative statements are also called the repetitive statements or looping statement. There are three types of looping structure in C++: while, do while, for loop. In C, we have seen them. The while loop is basically pre-tested loop structure. This structure checks the condition at the beginning of the structure. The set of statements are executed again and again until the condition is true. The general form of while condition is while. Test condition statements: if the condition is true, then the control of the code will be inside this block of will go inside this block, and this statement will be executed. Same do while loop. This is the post test loop structure. This structure check the condition at the end of the structure. The statement set of statements are executed again and again until the condition is true. The general form of the while structure is just like this. As we have discussed already the structure in the previous class. So I'm just doing a quick review of that. For loop is basically this structure is the fixed execution structure usually used when we know in advance exactly how many times a set of statements to be executed repeatedly. If we know that how many times a set of statement is going to be executed repeatedly, then we will use the for loop. This structure can be used as increment looping or decrement looping structure. The general form of for structure is as follow. For again, you have seen here, this is the declaration condition, and this is for increment or decrement. And again, the for loop is true, then this statement will be executed. The next is the jump statement, jump or transfer control within looping are used to terminate the execution of the loop, exiting a loop halfway through to skip the loop. The general form of jump or transfer control are break statement, as you have seen, exit statement, continue statement, and go to statement. Break statement has two uses. To terminate a case in the switch statements, you have seen in the switch case that there are different keywords that were switch, case, and break. If we want to terminate a case in the switch statement, then we will use the break statement. To force immediate termination of loop like while, do while, and for by passing the normal loop conditional test, then we will use the break. As you can see in the for loop, we have used the break statement. When the break statement is encountered, the loop is immediately terminated and program control resumes at the next statement. The general form of the break statement is this. Then we have the exit function. The function cause immediate termination of the entire program, forcing a return to the operating system. In effect, exit function act as if it were breaking out the entire program. The general form of exit statement is just like this. At the end of the loop and the statement, we have the exit function. Then we have the continue statement. Continue statement causes the program to skip the rest of the loop in the current iteration, causing it to jump to the start of the following iteration. It will go to the start. Instead of going to the next, it will go to the start. Instead of forcing termination, continue force the next iteration of the loop to take place. The general form of continuation of continuous statement is just like this. For loop way, and again we have the angle brackets, and then we have the condition, and then we have the continue statement. Go to statement basically allowed to make an absolute jump to another point in the program. This basically statement execution cause an unconditional transfer of control from one statement to the other statement. A label is made of a valid identifier followed by a colon. The general form of go to statement is void main. Again, the here declaration initialization is done. We have the loop, and we have the C out, and we have the symbol. Then we have condition, go to loop, and C out end of the loop, and get ch. Basically, array, as I told you, array is a collection of elements where all elements are are same data type under the same name. As I've told you, if you want to store the fruits, if I want to store the name of the fruit, then all of the same data type, then I will use the array. The elements are numbered as 0, 1, 2, 2 list, which basically ends at n minus 1. Because it starts from 0, then obviously if there are n in the computer, if we talk about generically, then it means that the total number are n. But if we start from the 0, then it means the end will be n minus 1. These numbers called the indices or subscript. You can say indexes, or you can say the address of specific element. These numbers are used to locate the position of elements within the array. For example, zero means there is an array whose the first element is stored at the index 0, whose element is stored at the address number 0. If A is the name of an array, obviously array has a name, proper syntax. The element can be directly accessed as A0. Then it means I want to access the variable that is stored at the index 0 index. Then we have the one if you want to access the element that is at address A, then I will use just like this. Same goes for address 2, and then n minus 1. Obviously, there are different type of the method of numbering the ith element with the index I minus 1 is called the zero base indexing. There are different type of array: one dimensional, two dimensional, multi-dimensional. One dimensional, each element is accessed using an array with one subscript. Two dimensional array, each element is accessed using two subscript and an array. A multi-dimensional array is an array of n dimension.